That did I just screw it? Bam, we're live. I didn't mean to make you take your hat off, Caleb.
It's okay.
The show's brought to you by Subaru.
Great cars. Very reliable.
Are they?
Yeah. Probably the most reliable ones you can get.
Man, they're everywhere. More than my Toyota Sienna.
Ooh, I don't know. It's probably a tie between Toyotas and Subarus.
You know what is interesting is I had bought my Sienna in 2016, and I got the one with just like every just like option, right? The leather seats, the DVD player, all that shit. And it was $50,000.
Captain chairs.
Yeah, all the fancy shit. $50,000 as cruise control. Power windows. And 2016, so I had the baby seats in the back when I got it. And a couple of years ago I took them out, probably too early. And never did booster seats. But basically I looked in the back yesterday, and there's a bench seat in the back that sits three, right?
Right.
It's three in the back, and then two chairs, and then the two driver chairs. But the seats in the back, right where the seam was, where the leather was sewed together, is just completely opened up. And I go to the boys, holy shit, the seat's completely torn open. And they're like, oh yeah, it's been like that forever. And I'm assuming that's because I had the baby seats on it, and you pull them down so tight, that it compromised the back seats. But it really bums me out. It makes me want a new car, but the thought of a car payment makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, that's the big problem. I drive up, my car's paid off, and my wife's car is almost paid off, and it's like, damn, I don't really care. And I know I'm going to have to get a new one soon just because of the mileage on it, and it's just old. And
how many miles do you have on it?
I have a Jeep Cherokee, and it's got 270,000 miles on it.
Is Jeep Cherokee, is that a good car? Or I would think of that as a shitty car.
The older ones, I think, are better than the newer ones, but because there's less mechanics to it. It's all old school shit.
The day that I was fired from CrossFit, when my position was no longer needed, literally that day I paid off my car and one of my homes.
Damn.
Yeah. They didn't quite cancel each other out. I was still pretty bummed that I lost my job, but it was like, oh shit.
Isn't that kind of nice though? You're like, well, I can't make any money, so, but at least I don't have to spend a bunch of money on other shit.
Yeah, the timing couldn't have been better. Wow, listen to this, Audrey. I have rolled down windows, and they never quit working. I was in Greg has this Can-Am, and I don't know if it's called a Can-Am, but it's made by those people, I think, who make Can-Am. He has this thing in Idaho, and it had rolled down windows, and I was kind of excited to see that.
Like a side-by-side?
I don't know. What is that thing called that you have, Greg? That thing with the big
it's a Can-Am Defender, I think. It's got a windshield wiper, roll down windows, heating. And it's a 3x3, so you can seat 6.
Dude, it's so cool. We loaded the back full of bags of garbage and did a garbage run and it was, dude, it was crazy. Greg was
probably the best way to do a garbage run.
Greg was getting on it around all the turns. It was cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
I never heard that.
It's got the same motor as my big Can-Am, and I think they'll do 100 miles an hour.
I never heard that thing shift. I was kind of tripping. Is that motor it's just one gear from 0 to 50? Like I kept waiting for it to shift. I'm like, this thing doesn't. It's an automatic, right?
I think it's just like high or low is what it is. You get either high gear or low gear. So it'll just
true.
But it still did 50. Like we were doing 50 just in snowy, muddy shit, and it didn't shift. That just doesn't. Do golf carts shift?
No, those are electric.
Yeah. Sevi, is that your connection?
That's shitty? No, I don't think so. No, my connection's solid. Are you getting a little
choppy?
Choppy? Who's choppy, guys? Vote. Put the blame on someone. Me, Greg, or Caleb.
It's probably me.
Who's slowing down? Am I just choppy, or is it just Caleb who's choppy?
Yeah, it's you talking. I hear everything else seems fine to me.
Oh, then maybe it is me.
It's gone now.
What resort did we go to? It was massive. I think it's called Morning Star or
Silver Mountain. I don't know.
Starwood.
I don't know.
Morningwood.
Mountain Star.
We're definitely close. Was it hour north of Coeur d'Alene?
No, kind of out fairly much east. Out 90, right off 90.
Shows what I know. Hey Greg, I saw Epoch Times sent me an email yesterday saying that Fannie Willis is being charged with 22 indictments. And
no, I think I didn't read it, but I think that it's 22 charges to a proposed impeachment.
Oh, sorry, impeachment, right. And we'll get into that, but this is the part that really blew me away. So I wanted to the Epoch Times was a really short article, and then it was a video. And I wanted to read more about it. So I put it into Google. And I couldn't find anything. It just gave me one result. I had just one result, and it was the Epoch Times. So I went to DuckDuckGo and I typed it in. And I got fucking pages of returns. And that's the second time this week I've done that. And I'm not a DuckDuckGo guy, but it's the second time this week I've done this. And Google's definitely who's that?
Me, sorry.
That's the second time this week that I've noticed that Google's censoring stuff around the campaign. It's crazy that they're censoring the searches. Caleb, I just sent you.
Wait a minute. Wait, Sevi, are you suggesting that we can't trust Google?
Yes, I'm suggesting that they are limiting our ability to search things around Trump. Hey, it wasn't like it was in a small rag. If you look, it was in the New York Post. I sent you the link, Caleb, and this New York Post article wasn't coming up when I searched in Google. Georgia rep moves to impeach DA Fannie Willis, accuses her of Trump derangement syndrome.
Please tell me that's a real diagnosis.
It's gonna be. This is turning into a wild story. It's still another week before she has to address the judge directly on the charges. In addition, the Georgia Senate on Friday voted to approve the formation of a committee to investigate potential wrongdoings of Willis, part after her alleged affair with the special prosecutor appointed to oversee Trump case emerged.
Sevi, here's the thing for me on this.
Yeah, tell me.
It's not like they caught her with $150,000 in aluminum cash and aluminum foil in a freezer. It's that the guy that she brought into this thing she's fucking. Now, did she find the best guy possible and then just start fucking him? So he's hugely good as a lawyer and just so as a fuck, and so what? Or is it just some dude she's fucking who she's pretending like he's some kind of good prosecutor and giving him cash? I don't know the degree of the sin, and I'm not surprised by any of it.
Right.
The whole thing's political bullshit, all politically motivated. I mean, look at her. She ran for office screaming in the streets. Isn't that the lady that she was going to take him down?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay. So here we are now. And it turns out she's engaged to some sleazy degree with this other scumbag. It doesn't even seem like a big story to me. It's kind of like Google fucking with results. Of course they do. That's why they're there.
I guess that is a fair way to say it. It is because they're there. The thing is that it's an election year,
Yep.
The orange hair guy.
And we got a guy that is, for a handful of reasons, eminently popular, for reasons that they're easy to describe, fairly obvious, and that constitutes a threat to democracy to a good chunk of the country. That some guy is popular enough that they're going to vote for president. That's the threat to democracy.
Right.
It's a wonderful thing.
I love it that they're accusing her of racial prejudice.
They're going to lose it. They're going to lose at the box office. And so what are we going to do? All kinds of crazy mail-in harvesting bullshit, of course. And let's see if we can sue him into poverty. And what else? So how about having him taken off the ballot? Anything but running a fair election where the retard gets gets elected. He's an absolute fool. He's so natively stupid that he's down there where Joe Biden is out of advanced senility. Hunter was making jokes about his father's senility when the fucker was vice president. I read the emails. When his father's vice president, he's saying that without Secret Service, he couldn't even find his way back to the White House anymore. Ha, ha, ha. He and his friends think it's funny how senile his dad is. That's 15 years ago. Now he's as dumb as the orange guy, who I'm going to proudly vote for.
Biden had 2 aneurysms.
He is an aneurysm.
I was listening to a doctor speak on aneurysms, and they said one of the effects is that you can't you lose the ability to process what you should and shouldn't say. Basically, you just become, any thought you have, you just say. So that's why we've been hearing.
That should be your middle name.
I didn't have an aneurysm. Maybe I did.
Sevan aneurysmatosis.
That's why we hear the thing.
That's your beauty.
I thought it was the porn ponent.
It's related.
That's why he says stuff like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. That's where that shit's coming from.
No. That's pure ideology there. If you're not aggrieved, and angry with white people to CNN, you're not a black man.
Yeah,
you'd have to watch Fox News to learn that there are brain surgeons and lawyers and generals who are black and not pissed off at all about anything.
Sleeky,
and those people aren't black to the left.
Right. Larry Elder felt the wrath of that when he ran for governor of California.
For Biden, if you're not eating out of the government trough, you're not a black man. He's only interested in blacks on the Democrats' plantation. Those are the only ones that matter. Those are the blacks whose lives matter, and it's because their votes matter.
Yesterday, I posted something on Instagram about George Floyd. I just said George Floyd overdosed, and someone called me racist. And I was just like, I just wish I could have 5 minutes with that person to explain to them that the fact that they think I'm bringing color into it by saying George Floyd overdosed. I just want to just be like, can I just explain to you why it's that you're racist? That you think that it's a black or white thing that he overdosed, that I have a belief that he overdosed. Sleeky, I'm gonna proudly vote for him too. Gina Lee, my dad had 3 aneurysms. Each time you have one, you have a 50-50 chance to live. He survived them all. Wow. I'm stoked for you, Gina. Herbert, wow, Greg's beard looks fucking fantastic today.
Thank you. It's a toss up. I don't know what I know what it is. I like it's like Trump and Biden. You know, the beard's better than shaving. I'm not fond of either one.
J.R. Howell, Sevanurism.
There you go.
Sabir, once in the U.S., though I'm Indian Latino looking in Trinidad, I'm considered black. Is that what the people are from Trinidad? It's a Latin Indian mix. Is that their
Yeah, like Trinidad Tobago. Remember Stephen Alford, the Olympic sprint cyclist in Santa Cruz, friend of mine?
I don't remember.
He was in the Olympics for Trinidad Tobago.
12 daily doses. You're not racist for saying he overdosed. You're misinformed, but not racist. Oh.
What would be the basis for either one? I mean, tell me how. So are you saying that having 3 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in his bloodstream, you're saying that was the leading cause? And the person who says you're ill-informed, what would be his basis for saying that it was something else? Would it be the conviction of Chauvin? Or would it be some other evidence? And it's some other evidence. What would that be? Would it be what you saw of the neck lean, what they call riding a knee? Because if that's what did it, what's interesting is that thing is used all the time, almost everywhere. In fact, it's in the Minneapolis training manual. They were taught to do that.
Maximum restraint technique, MRT. Yeah, it's
They
in
were
both
taught
their
to
training
do
manual.
that.
Yeah.
Our cop friends described it as riding a knee, and our physician friends told us that that's you're not going to kill someone doing that. So what is it? Was it riding the knee? It's an honest question, and you could have different opinions on it, but I think that whether you think that the knee ride was lethal or the 3x the fentanyl level was lethal, and whether you think the autopsy results should be considered or not in the discussion, and if you think that the trial results are all the evidence you need to have opinions on the thing, that's all discussable, I think, without labeling someone a racist. And so when what you get is racist, it sounds like it's entirely non-discussable, which is a fascinating thing and consistent with my views of the left on almost everything anyway. Well, try have a discussion that rent control creates slums. Minimum wage leads to unemployment of people, removes the bottom rungs of the ladder. Try to have those discussions with that crowd. That almost every one of their fixes exacerbates a problem to their political advantage. Have those discussions. You can't. It'd be like telling some dude that you think he looks like a douchebag with the Hawaiian shirts and all the chest hair coming out and the big gold chains. They'll have none of that.
There was a quote in here from the autopsy for those of you, just to catch you up a little bit. And the reason why this is like on the forefront of my brain is I'm having Liz Collin on, and I just finished her book and I watched her movie Fall of Minneapolis. Handwritten notes of law enforcement interview with Dr. Andrew Baker, the Hennepin County medical examiner, said Floyd had 11 nanograms of fentanyl in the system. If the standard in the state of Minneapolis, if they find you at home and you test for 3 nanograms or more of fentanyl in your bloodstream with no other signs of death, it's considered an overdose. So that's how you come to the, it's actually closer to 4 times the amount than 3 times. He also had a 75% occlusion of one of his arteries. He had COVID. He had meth in his system. He had alcohol in his system. He had marijuana in his system. Yeah.
But you said you could have all those things and you'd be strangled.
I agree. But he also had no they found no bruising on his neck. They showed no trauma to his neck in the autopsy. and the I can't breathe thing. He in his previous 2 arrests, that was this exact same thing. He said, I can't breathe. I watched the video. He said I can't breathe probably 20 times in the car when no one was touching him. He kept saying it's happening again, meaning, and he's kept saying, I have COVID, it's happening again. So I find it very, very sad that Derek Chauvin is spending 20 years in jail, 21 years in jail. And the fact that a couple weeks ago, I don't know if you guys know this, but he was stabbed 22 times in jail. Now he's back in medical solitary. I don't know. Liz will be on soon.
You should talk with an anesthesiologist or interventional radiologist about the likelihood of killing someone through either blood or air choke with a unilateral pressure on the neck and the way that was done. You ought to have that. You ought to have that. Anyone interested in that ought to have those conversations because they're fascinating. And these are people that don't really give a fuck about the issue, but they have strong opinions on the possibility of that. And we'll talk to you about things like 100% occlusion on one side, and the people come in fine talking to you. That's a shitty way to try to murder someone in terms of technique for unilateral pressure on the neck.
Talk to the people like
anesthesiologists. Look, I didn't convene a panel with these guys to even have the discussion. They both, by accident, know each other only through me. We're in the room at the same time when this is going on, and they both called utter and complete bullshit. And I got law enforcement friends that are of the same view. This is why it's a universally taught technique.
Which wasn't admissible in court, by the way. Which wasn't admissible. They didn't let them show the manuals.
Well, they'd already lied. Law enforcement, the police chief, and the head of training had already lied and said that it wasn't part of their program. I've seen it in their manual. I've seen it in my own eyes. I've seen it in their manual. And so when someone out of DOJ tells me that he doesn't think there's a police department not taught this, we call it riding a knee. We use it all the time. It says if someone's sitting in the back seat of a car trying to bang their head out the window, you don't pull them out because they're going to break your window. You do it because you don't want them to show up with a brain bleed when you turn them in, when you take them in. So you put them out and you just, hold them to the ground. They'll chill. It's to keep someone from banging their head on something.
A couple other things along that, by the way. As soon as they pulled him out of the car, they did call the EMT. And the fire department actually went to the wrong location, which caused a 20-minute delay in their arrival. Judy Reed chimes in, regardless how he died, what we believe, it still does not warrant the aftermath and destruction. Absolutely not. $760 million of damage done to Ferguson. To put that in perspective, the damage done on January 6th to the state capitol was $30 million.
And that damage, listen, that's not to white neighborhoods. That's right. I don't see that here in Scottsdale.
Right.
It's the people that are still paying the price are good, hardworking Black people who had their liquor store, their barbershop burned down, their church burned down.
You think O.J. Simpson was guilty?
Which time of what? I was sympathetic the second time in the Vegas thing, but everyone thought, fucking, he has it coming, right? The first time, it was kind of obvious, I think, from the beginning.
O.J.
I mean, he painted the walls with the two of them, and his hands are cut out.
David Weed, OJ did not do it. All right.
Okay. Good.
Give you the final.
You know what it was?
What?
It was a knife fight between Ron Goldman and Nicole Simpson, and OJ showed up and took both the knives. tried to do CPR on both of them. It was too late, and he left.
You'd be a great defense attorney.
Yes.
Before we talk about UNRWA.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Hey, only 50 of their employees helped. And I understand that it's only like 10% of those in the area were caught actively participating in the terrorist attack.
Fine, let's talk about UNRWA. UNRWA received $140 million under the Biden administration in our tax dollars. There was this poll that came out right after October 7th happened, and I didn't believe the poll, and it was that 86% of Gazans thought that 86% of Gazans believed that the October 7th attack was just. And I was like, how could that be? How could anyone think that? Well, now it's come out that this organization called UNRWA has been teaching in all the schools to all the children for years and years and years that killing Jews should be celebrated. You can't even fucking make this shit up. And now 50 of their employees.
And we've been paying for it. The U.S. tax money.
Yeah, and Canada. Fucking wild.
So that's how you end up with a physician who goes to work to do some kind of pediatric surgery while his family holds hostage in their home some of the kidnapped hostages from October 7th.
Hey, so now at this point, they keep painting Hamas as a terrorist organization, but basically, I think you have to almost rework the narrative.
You say they keep painting it as one?
Yeah. Well, okay. Basically, and
that's like painting Hitler as uncool.
What I'm going to say is that I think it's a misnomer in the sense that I don't know if you would paint I don't know if you'd paint the United States of America as a terrorist organization, but you could paint them as a country that's very aggressive and bombs people with injustice. What I'm saying is it was the whole entire country. It's not just some small portion of the region of Palestine that hates the Jews. It's that entire fucking country, and they basically declared war on Israel. It changes the whole. It changes the whole narrative in terms of appropriate force in return.
Yeah,
it's not a small fringe group inside of Gaza that attacked Israel. The whole fucking country hates Israel.
When you say that Trump is like Hitler, or the United States is a terrorist organization, or that what Israel is doing is genocide, that language is carefully crafted to take anything that might be a discussion and turn it into a non-discussion. Okay, it has all the intellectual force of just spitting in your face. It's not believed, it's not sincere, it's something that's recited. It debases the language of all meaning. At the point Trump's Hitler, everyone's Hitler. Now we're all fucking Hitler. Okay, right. Good going, right? And so the U.S. if you make the U.S. terrorist, then Hamas isn't terrorist. That's the point of it. And if you can't see the difference between collateral damage, that damn it, you wish that hadn't happened, and the goal being the collateral damage being the primary concern, it's not even collateral. If you can't see that, I don't know where we go from there. But all of this was done to get you exactly what we got. What remains to be seen is at what point do the people that were the architects of this thing concede they fucked up. I think as long as they're breathing, they'll think it was good, no matter how many Gazans are killed. As long as that Sinbad, or whatever the asshole's name underground, as long as he's still alive and the guy's in Qatar living in unfathomable luxury, As long as they survive this thing, if every man, woman, and child in Gaza would be killed, that would be a perfect outcome.
That's the narrative they want so that they can keep it alive.
They're creating a story that is agitating, and that's the purpose. That's what Iran wants. And it's all a prelude to some apocalyptic, primitive people's vision for the end of the world and their brief dominance.
Hey, I can't remember the guy's name. He wrote the article. He was at your house for one of the Broken Science events. The guy who wears the hat, the art critic.
Roger Kimball.
I read that article that you sent that went back and talked about the history of the Palestinian people and their creation. And then I did some searches on Wiki, and I came up with the fact that those people there in 1964, Palestine was a nationality. And then basically in 1964, the KGB created this organization called the PLO, and they put Yasser Arafat in control, and they basically started using the term as an ethnicity. And that from the article, I was able to piece together that was a psyop being done by the Russians, so that region there could be used as a launch pad for attacks on the West. And that this whole thing has been planned since 1964 by the Russians. Then on the drive home from Idaho, I was listening to CNN on Sirius, and one of the generals was saying, a retired general was saying that this is basically a distraction, that Hamas was ordered to attack Israel as a distraction so that they could get Ukraine out of the media. Have you heard that theory? That basically this entire thing was so that the media would start focusing on that region and that they could continue doing horrific shit to the Ukraine.
I think that you can...
You think people are playing chess like that?
I think you can take a lot of things that individually sound like conspiracy theories, but if you just kind of, on paper, write down the Russian, look at this lineup, the Russian, China, North Korea, Iran, radical Islam, let's just call it collectively Hamas, but all of Iran's proxies. Once you accept their own view of the world, and that is that they're allies, and look at how Russia treats its people, China treats its people, North Korea treats its people, Iran treats its people, and Hamas treats its people, you get a sense of what they're willing to do and how they would be willing to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing to treat us. And you have to take them at their word that they're going to work in sync and that their alliance is truly felt and believed. And so it looks to me like an alliance of evil. Each of those places, nothing could be fucking worse than to have to live there, just without a doubt. Each of them are run by unfathomably brutal tyrants, dictators. They don't like that word. That's all that is. It's just a structure of dictatorship, and it has a global agenda that includes your demise. So anything that distracts us militarily or financially, Ukraine, the Middle East, or Taiwan, of course they're all about that. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy of evil nations. And if you can't theorize that they'd work in alliance to distract us or divide us, you've probably never played chess before. You're playing checkers, and the world's playing chess.
What a simple piece of algebra that is. Look how North Korea treats their own people, look how China treats its own people, look how Iran treats its own people. How do you think, if they treat their own people like that, how do you think that they want to treat you? Holy shit.
Look at all of them's view on women. It looks like a world war on women.
I mean, North Korea starves its people, allows its people to starve. Wow.
You can't exaggerate the tyranny or the brutality of Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, or Hamas. It can't be adequately expressed.
They had a pediatrician in the hospital holding Jewish hostages
In their home while he went to work.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Man, that's really a scary proposition you just put up. How if they treat their people like that, just imagine what they want, how they want to treat
And
them,
they have
or what they do to you.
and they reek of global aspiration, both of the ideological and the fantastical. You know, like the Iranians and the whatever the end of days is with the horsemen and the well and all that bullshit. They're ready. They're ready.
They're just helping their citizens fast and stay healthy. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I apologize for projecting my.
Yeah, applying Western values.
Yeah, I apologize for that. You're right.
We criticize our own way of life by terms and standards unique to our way of life. Wait, like you think dishonest politician has fucking meaning in China, in Russia, in North Korea, in Iran? They know the difference between idealism and reality, between power and nice thoughts. We don't. Americans don't. American Democrats don't. That Biden's paralyzed over what's going on in the attacks on Americans is absolutely unexplainable.
We haven't responded yet to Iran.
Not that I'm seeing.
No, we haven't, and he hasn't said anything about what he's going to do. He just said that he was going to.
Well, we responded. He told him he doesn't want a wider conflict.
Yeah, why would he say that? Even if he doesn't want a wider conflict, why would he say that?
Because we just pulled out of Afghanistan, and he's trying to pull out of Iraq too.
It's for domestic consumption.
Hey, Caleb, I don't know if you can answer this, but so the story goes, there was an American drone in the air, and it got confused with an enemy drone, and so they didn't shoot down the enemy drone, and the base was attacked, and those 3 soldiers were killed in their sleep. I think 40 injured. Does that sound? What do you think of that story when you hear that story? In the place where you were staying, can you tell us if you were staying in an outpost for those 7 months you were working the back end of the show?
No, but the way that I read it, the way that I interpreted it was that there was an American drone that was flying. So obviously we have drones. Everybody's got drones. We were flying it back. It was like returning to base basically. And then what had happened is that the enemy drone had like piggybacked on to our drone and just flew into the compound at the same time. And then it detonated within the compound. Yeah, it was pretty close to where I was.
Could that have happened where you were staying?
Less likely, but yeah, it could have happened for sure.
And when you slept at night, did you think of that?
Yeah, we had some instances where it was like possible drone attacks, but it turned out to be nothing. But
Say you let someone shoot at you continuously and repeatedly, so we're in the space of hundreds of times. Anyone, someone, somewhere, you're going to take a hit.
And when they call theirs drones, they call them one-way drones, meaning that they're basically just at that point that they're not even drones; they're just missiles, right? I mean, a one-way drone.
Kamikaze.
Yeah, you call them like kamikaze drones or guided drones, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But yeah, no matter what, that thing's not coming back to where it was launched from.
They don't have the technology that we have. There's not a 15-year-old kid flying that thing around.
I think they do have the technology, but they know that they're going to go detonate it somewhere. It's not going to like they'll never do it for a reconnaissance set. Like if you look at how the Ukraine war is playing out and like the kind of technology they're using, they have like a 2-drone system where they have a drone that's like orbiting an area, watching over some target that they want to drop another drone on, and then they use that to target and use another drone to attack. I don't think they're doing that. I just think that they're using singular drones, and they just know like, oh, well, this is an obvious target. We're going to detonate something on it.
Sevi, there's a kid somewhere who thinks he's playing a video game in like Madison, Wisconsin, and he's actually killing Russians for Ukraine.
Right.
We were doing that all through the war on terror.
Have you seen one of those rooms where the guys hang out and fly the drones, Caleb? Have you walked into a room and seen the guys flying the drones?
I don't think I have, actually. No. I know some people who do it, though. Cool.
Wild.
Yeah, it's literally a video game.
There's a clip here, Instagram, of the 3 soldiers who were killed. It is pretty scary and sad when you hear the fact that they were sleeping and that 40 were injured, and then it hit some fucking, I think the outpost was where 3 countries border, right?
It's it's literally on the border of Syria and Jordan. You can throw a rock into Syria. You can hear the Jordanian border guards shooting their 50 cals at people trying to cross the border. You have people like it's guarded pretty well. You have border like towers that are like strafing you with their guns as you're driving by. So yeah.
What's that mean, strafing? Like just following you?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you drive by, you just have some Jordanian dude just pointing his gun at you as you're driving by.
And has there been any talk of this being racist since all 3 soldiers who were killed are black?
No, but it seems pretty racist to me.
Very racist.
No, that's how they got there. That's where we put black people in the service.
Just send them out to the Outpost 22.
To the Jordanian-Syrian border.
At least 3 dozen other Americans.
To test the resolve of Iranians.
The attack was claimed by the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, an umbrella organization of the Iran-backed militia forces who have been responsible for over 150 attacks.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It's a lot of people. Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
What do you think he's going to do, Greg? What do you think Biden's going to do? I saw something that who was it? Did Reagan sunk one time they fucked with Reagan and Reagan sunk half their
Navy.
Sunk half their Navy. How many is that? Like they always say half their Navy, but is that 2 boats or like what is that?
They lost considerable assets, and I think there was some oil production that might have been involved in that. I don't remember exactly, but
I heard it took 20 years to rebuild whatever Reagan knocked out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, Reagan was able to affect his response in a climate in which it wasn't even remotely possible or probable is the better term that China was going to take Taiwan as a response. You see, Biden's a fucking pussy, and the bad guys clearly have multiple things over him from several countries. China for a fact. It looks like Iran as well. Ukraine certainly. And on top of which he's demented and by his very nature weak. He's behind the scenes influence peddling kind of a mobster like figure, you know? He's not a leader, he's not a powerful man, he never has been. And long history of profound dishonesty, you know, almost got thrown out of law school for plagiarism. He had to abandon a presidential campaign over it. But here he is compromised in every sense imaginable. There's no sense of compromise that Joe Biden's not compromised. And so the responses to what he would do might be very different than were someone else to do it. So were Trump president, I would say that it is time to take this to the Revolutionary Guard and some faction of Iran's military, and maybe some of their senior leadership, and let the rest of the military know that we should have been supporting the people when they were amassed in the streets on the risking death, protesting the abuse of that poor girl they killed in jail for having her hair visible or whatever it was. No, his hands are somewhat tied by his weakness.
What one report is saying, and I have no evidence of this, obviously, but that he's not making any decisions, and he has the most progressive cabinet in the history of the U.S. history, and that basically they're the ones making all the decisions.
If I were advising Xi Jinping, I would be saying, this may be your moment.
Take Taiwan now or forever hold your peace.
Yes. It could be a non-issue by the time the orange guy gets in, where even he has to recognize. Were I advising him, I would put it in his ear that this may be your only chance. The U.S. will never look weaker, never be weaker.
What if he gets reelected again?
Then it'll be weaker. But I really have trouble seeing that happen. Hey, you know what?
Did you see Snoop Dogg's flip, by the way? Did you see Snoop Dogg's flip the script?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Crazy. He hated Trump. Now he's all about Trump.
Guy.
Yeah.
He's got nothing but love for the brother.
Yeah.
There were people that said that happened when they booked him in that jail in Atlanta, where so many black people have been booked. There's several black comedy people. Now he's a brother. Anyone that's been in that jail, he didn't even go in. He just showed up. And
Snoop Dogg does hard U-turn now, says he has nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump. You know what? Okay, I'll read more. Yeah, give me a little more. Snoop Dogg has nothing but kind things to say about Donald Trump these days. The gin and juice rapper seems to have had a change of heart toward the former U.S. president, according to an interview with the Sunday Times in London. He ain't done nothing wrong to me. He has done only great things for me. He pardoned Michael Harris, Snoop Dogg 52 said. Harris is co-founder of Snoop Dogg's first label, Death Row Records, who was in prison for drug trafficking and attempted murder, according to the New York Times. Trump pardoned Harris in January 2021. So I have nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump, Snoop Dogg added. It was a surprising thing to say. Snoop Dogg has been much less complimentary of Trump in the past. Snoop Dogg was among the celebrities who publicly disavowed Trump after he was president in 2016. Yeah, Snoop said a bunch of shit like, fuck anyone who's black who votes for Trump. That November, Snoop Dogg eagerly told his followers his plan to move to Canada because Trump. 4 months later, Snoop Dogg shared the music video of his song Lavender, which featured a clown named Ronald Klump, who shared similar features to Trump. Trump hit back at Snoop Dogg X, then known as Twitter, to citizens to criticize the music video. Hey, you know what I think has happened, Greg? I think the black-skinned people in this country and the gay people in this country, I think the progressives took it too far. Meaning, like, it must be so weird having black skin or being gay in this country now, because they've lumped all the gays up with the pedophiles and the groomers, and then they want everyone to feel sorry for anyone who has black skin. And if you're black, you're like, what the fuck? I don't want this. Is like, I just wanted to get into college. I didn't want Tom, Dick, and Harry thinking that I'm a fucking idiot and feel sorry for me.
The border crisis was the Obama plan, is the Biden plan, and everything that looks like a defect is actually the chief attribute. And what it's done is it's let 12 million new people into this country, and the presumption is they're going to get some significant number of them to vote, and very soon. That was the plan, and it's being carried out marvelously. Now here's the problem: we have a name for when your acquisitiveness finds success and then overruns you with negative. It's called greed. Well, they got too greedy, and what they did is These people went to the sanctuary cities largely through the maneuvers of Abbott and DeSantis and some of these guys whose states were designed by this thing to flip blue. They sent them into the sanctuary cities, and we have the equivalent of shooting yourself in the foot. But what the Dems have done with their border plan is they've shot themselves in their constituency. And there is no black person whose life has been done anything other than made shittier by the presence of fucking 200,000 pickpocketing Venezuelans.
Racist.
Yeah, and that's been established long ago. And so
big
everything's
Venezuelan
fine,
gang running Miami now.
Except,
the reports.
Of course they do. Venezuela emptied its madhouses and prisons. Hey, Mayorkas didn't know that everyone coming across the border has a colored wristband depending on what their role is in what the cartel assignment for them is, what their obligation is. And the Border Patrol people are freaking out because everyone's got them. They all have the wristbands. He hadn't heard of it.
Rambler said, "Why Venezuelans?" I'm not sure what the why is in reference to, but the country had a massive economic collapse.
Their prisons and their nut houses of all but political prisoners. Dude, you could take the contents of Atascadero State Hospital in California and deposit them to Honolulu and turn them loose on the streets and destroy the state of Hawaii. It cost them $1 billion to round those fuckers back up and put them in the little Silence of the Lamb cubicles.
You think Trump will round up? Will just 10x?
I have no idea what he'll do. I have no idea what he'll do.
Caleb, Susie Tell mentioned a story in Lake Tahoe of some guy getting trapped in a gondola overnight.
Oh, jeez.
Can we see that article?
I'm so not about those things. Hey, we were just, Sevan and I were just with the kids skiing up in Idaho, and I was in a gondola and the wind was howling, whipping that thing left and right, and then it slows down, and I know they'll stop them in the wind. And I tell you what, when I saw that the fucking thing was made in Switzerland, I felt a whole lot better.
How did you find out it was made in Switzerland?
I was reading on it, and it's just like, oh, whoa, made in Switzerland.
While you're up there, you Googled?
No, I was looking on the wall. It's got a plaque, and there's the name of the company, and it's a Swiss GmbH whatever from Switzerland.
Like those elevators.
Yeah, I would take anything Swiss.
Hold on.
Hey,
caller, hi.
Look at the.
Hey,
please.
So it's been quiet on the news. I watched 3 different news stations here in New York, and the only one that actually played this article was the local Fox. 6 people attacked 2 New York City police officers, pummeled them to the ground. They got arrested. And guess what?
They got released.
Guess how long they were in jail for?
For life.
They got booked and released. They got booked and released.
Greg, this is Jethro, owner of CrossFit Chief Nation on
Hey, Jethro. These guys were head stomping a cop that was down. One of the cops was worthless to the effort, and the other guy was suffering these blows only because he was trying to keep the people off of his down buddy. And I tell you what, man, either one of those cops would have been well justified to pull a gun and start shooting these assholes.
Look, Caleb can't even find the article.
Yeah.
I watched the video.
It's buried.
Jethro, let me just say this real quick and we'll come back. Hold on, Jethro. I want to Carlos say this as a Venezuelan. We, the Venezuelan people, didn't do it, but the worst government in the world, the Venezuelan government, did that. Empty the jails, pay for everyone to cross the border. They have found Venezuelan gangs. Yeah. Thank you, Carlos, for saying that. All the Venezuelan people I know are fucking amazing, hardworking people, good people, loving people, family people with values. The only person who's ever come on this show and apologized for anything he ever said or did to Greg was a Venezuelan affiliate owner in Florida. So yeah, I apologize.
Carlos,
for just
the only people that need to, if that's something you need to hear, you're not going to hear it. And if anyone thinks because a black person did something, that's what all blacks do, or a Venezuelan did something, or if you release all the wackos out of the nut house, that's what Venezuelans are, the people that came out of the nut house. Those people aren't even engaged in a conversation anywhere with this anyway.
A group of illegal aliens pummeled New York Police Department officers attempting to make an arrest outside a shelter in Times Square. 2 officers and a lieutenant from New York Police Department's Midtown South Precinct approached a group of men outside a migrant shelter on West 42nd Street. The incident seemed likely to raise the temperature of the already heated debate surrounding the migrant crisis, in which more than 100,000 migrants are living in the city. Illegal migrants. 4 of the suspects
put the story into YouTube with Fox, and you'll get footage. That'll pop right
up. We could get in trouble for showing that. They'll say that I'm showing violence, gratuitous violence. I have to be careful. So wow, I didn't know. Did you mention that, Jethro? I missed that. I didn't know that those were migrants doing that. Hey, Caleb, can you pull that back up? I want to read.
Migrants. Yep, they were migrants right in front of a shelter. If anyone has any idea of what Times Square used to look like back in the 80s, this is what it looked like. Rudy Giuliani came and cleaned it up, and now it's turning back to that again now.
I want to read the part where they were released. It looked. I saw something in there about them building a mega shelter, though. That's what I want to hear. Can you? Oh, you can't get rid of that.
Hold on, yeah.
Holy shit! Why did they release them, Jethro? What's the justification for releasing them?
Because it's the law now, unless it's a major crime like a robbery or
attacking a cop's not a major crime.
I think 2 of 6 might have been held.
That could be right, Greg. But for the most part, we definitely know 4 were released. But the thing is, if they're charged with gang assault, they should all be held, which is what happened. I don't know why they were released. And just yesterday, listen to this craziness. Just yesterday, the New York City legislature passed a law saying any police officer that has any interaction with any civilian must document it. Any interaction. So if you ask somebody, did you happen to see this person walking on the street? You got to take their name. You got to take their
So if I wave to a cop, if my kids wave to a cop, they have to document if the cops wave back to my kid?
If you have an interaction, you speak to them. They're going to be bogged down with so much paperwork. The city is going to be unrecognizable to the point that the crazy new mayor, Mayor Adams, actually vetoed this. But the board went ahead and they changed it. And they vetoed him, and now it's law. It starts in July.
The first 4 were arrested and charged and had a court appearance and were released. Holy shit.
And Greg's right. If you see the video, you would say there is no way those guys got released. But
no, I'm sorry. 8 were released. 4 ran away. They were released on their own running, and 4 were arrested and released. 5 people in total were arrested. So it sounds like one of them still in jail.
Sebi, you know the UFC rules about kicking the head on someone down?
Yeah. If they have that, yeah.
I think that's a felony in all 50 states. I think that's the origins of that. I know a head stomp is. And everyone go out and look at the video on your own and see what you see. I'm seeing some head stomps and kicks. One cop gets kicked in the head so hard the guy that kicks him gets knocked flat on his back.
Imagine not having some special rules to protect your police. Like, hey,
the crazy part is, guys, is that if you're familiar with Times Square, especially the Midtown South Precinct, anything happens, within 30 seconds, you're going to have 20 cops there. That's how fast this happens.
Yeah, I agree. Those guys should have been shot, by the way. By the way, I totally agree. I think if you attack a cop, oh, shit, he kicked him in the head. Another stomp. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, just so you know, these guys are treating these cops worse than anyone treated George Floyd in the arrest if you watch the footage. No one punched George Floyd. No one hit George Floyd. No one kicked George Floyd. No one stomped George Floyd. He was saying he couldn't breathe. They pulled him out of the back of the car and called an EMT for him. Wow, dude. Hey, Jethro, what's the mood with the police department? I know you have intimate relations with the police department. What's the mood there?
As they always say, the demeanor and the just the lack of support from the brass from the city is awful. I'm lucky. I work in a suburban police department that's just outside of New York City, but the morale is just gone to the point where not only the morale is gone, but to the fact that these 5 next academy classes are canceled, they don't care anymore, and this is what we're working with.
Hey, were the cops black? Were the cops black by any chance?
You can't even tell they're getting stomped. They're swarmed by 8 migrants. I couldn't even tell. It's hard to see the video. And me as a cop, knowing that my training has told me that in a situation like that, you can't use a use of force that is higher than what they're using. Like you said, they had every reason to shoot them. Because what happens is you're trained that if you're in that situation, you run the risk of getting knocked out and they'll take your gun.
Right.
You cannot run that risk of getting knocked out.
So that's a great point. That's the thing that everyone should know. And then everyone around is at risk.
Listen how simple this is. He kicked me in the head and I got dizzy and I pulled out my gun and shot him. Justified. You've been assaulted to the point of disorientation. That's what happens moments before your life ends.
We had an event in 2020 that completely changed the narrative of policing in America. That's what happened. One incident. It's completely changed it, unfortunately. And the good cops of New York City, all they want to do is do their job and help the residents. But now they're hamstrung. Everyone should go see the video. Go YouTube it. It's crazy.
Yeah, Caleb.
I'm watching it right now. I'm counting. I've seen 4 head kicks, 5. I just witnessed 5 kicks to the head on a guy with shoulder and hip on the ground.
Now would be a good time also to talk about the fact that the Democrats are spinning this narrative that Trump's telling people not to accept the new bill trying to be passed and regulations regarding the border. First of all, I don't think anyone, as of yesterday or the day before when I was driving down here, they hadn't even released the bill. It was all hearsay. But one of the things that was in the bill is that depending on whose report you believe, was it the allowance of 5,000 migrants. Some people reported a day and some people reported a week. And we want the number to be 0 illegals. 0 people breaking into our country every day, not 5,000 a week, not 5,000 a day. And then here's the part that everyone should grasp. When Trump was in office, you had to wait outside the country until you got your court date. With Biden in office, they let everyone wait inside the country. That means there is no border. That is the definition of open border. You break into my house, and once you breach my front door, you're allowed to stay until the cops get there. And while you're there, I'm required to feed you, shelter you, and give you cash. That's what's going on in this country. Under the Biden administration, they are allowed to stay in this country. That means it's an open border. That's just word fuckery. And you have people like CNN reporting that it's inhumane to make them wait outside the country. It's fucking nuts.
It's election tampering. That's all it is.
Well, here's 2 things that scare.
It's serving that faction that is increasingly finding it difficult to win elections.
2 of the things, this World Economic Forum, this Klaus Schwab, Justin Trudeau, this shit, 2 of their agendas are digital currency and open borders. And I know the progressives on the left love this shit, this World Economic Forum shit. And that shit scares me too. The fact that they're just basically trying to just open the borders. Yeah. Some good news. The guy, Harvard is losing its biggest donor. Guy, unfortunately, he's already given, the guy's worth $37 billion. He's already given $500 million to Harvard. But now he's coming with some hard words for the establishment. I think his exact words. This is the article you shared with me, Greg, right?
Yep.
His exact words were Harvard's $500 million mega donor Ken Griffin halts donations, says elite schools produce whiny snowflakes. Hedge fund billionaire Ken Griffith, who has donated more than $500 million to Harvard University over the years, has halted contributions to his alma mater and claimed elite schools produce whiny snowflakes. There's something he says in here about DEI. Griffith, who has built a fortune that Bloomberg estimates at $37 billion, is now expressing significant concern about the direction of elite schools and diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. He says, quote, will America's elite universities get back to the roots of educating American young children and young adults to be the future leaders of our country, or are they going to maintain being lost in the wilderness of microaggressions and DEI agenda with no real end game? It's exciting, right?
You know, an interesting story, Sevi.
Yeah.
Mark my words, and let's follow up on this. Make a note to yourself to check in on this for a month from now if there's a way to check in on this guy or follow him. But I think this move will completely alter his social world, his life, friends, associates.
Oh, okay. Check in on Ken Griffin in a month.
Yeah.
Well, you think he moves to he becomes friends with Elon and not
Well, he's going to be like Jay Bhattacharya and everyone else who's been blindsided by the costs of having been on the inside and deigned to tell the truth on something, and you find that it's life altering.
Hey, but why do you think it's working for Dana White?
Because of the UFC constituency.
That fan base is just so
Yeah, it's not the LGBTQ. There's more pickup truck drivers watching it than Prius drivers.
Right.
UFC's not too far off from NRA. Right? Oh. If we're honest about it.
Yeah. Dana, yeah. Although he was on a I don't know how serious this is.
It explains Rogan the same thing. It's the same thing.
The billionaire also reiterated that he won't hire students who signed an anti-Israeli statement issued by Harvard organizations in October.
Yeah, he's going to get kicked out of the club.
He's only going to have Jewish friends left? Well, maybe not.
No, there'll be some of them. Many of them will be the first to leave.
A number of other major Harvard donors have halted their donations, including Victoria's Secret's billionaire Leslie Wexner and billionaire Len Blavatnik, whose family foundation has donated more than $270 million to Harvard.
This will accelerate all media and claims of Wexner and vis-a-vis Mr. Epstein. Watch. Oh. I mean, haven't you noticed that like Elon was this darling until he bought Twitter and made it X and revealed what Twitter was doing in conjunction with our intelligence apparatus that had moved over into the domestic space illegally. He can't get good press now on anything. I read an article in the fucking Guardian. They're telling me that I need to give money to stop the likes of Elon Musk and the Fox guy.
Tucker Carlson.
Come on.
Not Tucker?
Who's the guy? Murdoch.
Oh.
the Guardian is telling me it's weird. I'm reading this. Reading some story of interest, then all of a sudden it just lapses into the first person, and it's me need money to stop Murdoch and Elon. And I'm like, oh fuck you.
Judy
I
Reed
gave
Trump
them money once upon a time because there was a point where they were the only people reporting nutrition with any kind of accuracy. It actually revealed some of what the British Medical Journal was talking about the U.S. Soda and sports drink.
Trump was loved by the left until he ran for president as a Republican.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the gondola story. Sorry, I want to see what happened. I want to see, did that lady? I guess she didn't die. I guess it would have been in the headline. So you're on the gondola, Greg, and so you there's a little placard on there that said it's made in Switzerland, and you're like, oh, that's good. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Those guys are
some
smart.
GmbH,
You didn't want to see made in China
or here.
Snowboarder visiting California resort survived freezing temperatures after accidentally, it wasn't on purpose, getting stuck in a gondola overnight. Monica Lasso's story, she told it to NBC affiliate KCRA, vividly illustrated how suddenly and unexpectedly a leisure trip can turn into a near-death experience. She was at the Heavenly Ski Resort in South Lake Tahoe, California, to get some time snowboarding on the slope. She had boarded the gondola at 5 p.m., too late to board, on Thursday when she was tired and wanted help down a hill, and she ended up trapped there for 15 hours when the gondola suddenly stopped. Wow. Lasso, who did not have a cell phone with her, was unable to call for help. No one below was able to hear her, so she was left alone and stranded. I screamed desperately until I lost my voice. I didn't have a phone, a light, or anything. Lasso's friends reported her missing. The El Dorado County Sheriff's Office and Placerville Police were unable to get in touch with her. She was forced to rub her hands and feet to keep warm. The temperature overnight was minus 5 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Fahrenheit. These conditions are cold enough to be deadly to anyone who exposed them for a prolonged period. Hey, didn't those 3 guys in that backyard, like one of the things they're looking into how they died was that they froze to death? She underwent physical evaluation by paramedics from South Lake Tahoe Fire and Rescue Department. When she was discovered on Friday, she declined to take any area hospital to be taken to an area hospital. Wow, that's like the time I thought my dog had been eaten by coyotes, and then in the morning I found him in the car freezing.
Hey, at least he was smart enough to open the car and get in and close it when the coyotes were after him.
Hey, how Alex Peters, thank you. Best $20 you've ever spent. Man, you would think the gondola ride we took in Idaho was 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes, if you have a guy at the top and a guy at the bottom, you could check every single gondola, every car. You'd think they would have done that. I mean, she could have OD'd on fentanyl in there.
It was the DEI hire at the switch.
Hey, that's not an unjust comment. That's not an unfair comment. You can pretty much ask anyone now anything about their hiring. Were you hired for your genitalia, your skin color? It's all legit. It's not even considered rude anymore. It's all legit. Oh, that's all I got. One gondola. Any predictions? Any predictions on when we'll know? Do you think we could have done anything to Iran already and we just don't know?
Probably not. We have the capability to do it, but I don't think we've done anything.
Oh, Susie Tell, the gondola ride is 11 minutes. I just hung up on Jethro. He hadn't said anything in 16 minutes. Sevi, did you see they just announced a 90-day state of emergency in Oregon for fentanyl abuse? A bit late, don't you think?
What does that mean? What happens in 90-day state of emergency? Just a lot of clucking and flopping for 90 days? Mark it on the calendar. At the end of 90 days, whew.
I think eventually I am concerned about this show losing its YouTube privileges. But I would 1 second, Susie. I would like to say that I did see an article that so far in 2023 we had 193,000 more deaths than we did in 2022. And for those of you who can't think of what the significance of that might be, you should look into that. Susie, what's up, girl?
Yo.
Hey.
I'm getting ready to go to Austin tomorrow morning to meet Karin.
Oh, cool. For the health summit. Good on you. How fun.
Yeah. I didn't get left on a gondola yesterday when I went skiing.
No, did you go skiing yesterday?
Yes. And skiing's pretty good here, but probably not as good as what you guys got up in Idaho.
No, I think you probably Tahoe's good. You got it good. It good. We had great powder. Yes. The resort was a little tired, but the snow was great. And it was empty. Yeah. The resort was empty.
Oh, that's nice. Well, Idaho's nice. Tahoe, it's been crazy up here. In the last 10 days, we had that gondola incident, which Vail executive just made a statement earlier this morning. I was watching the news, local news from out of Sacramento, and Vail executive made a statement that it was a quote unquote breakdown in protocols.
Oh, do they normally check all the cars every night?
Right. So
Sevi, can you imagine? Can you imagine not running the whole loop through once and make visual that they're all empty and locking them?
Right.
The fuck, that wasn't done.
Just want to get home. It's late.
One of them can't get stuck and you move them all through. They're all tied on.
Right.
Dude, I wanted to go smoke at Dubes with his friends at the bottom. I mean, so
exactly
the thing about
facts. Yep.
The thing about Heavenly is it's true. Like a lot of the people that ski at Heavenly have to download what we call it on the gondola because the skier access to the California side of the resort where everybody parks is Gun Barrel is it's a double diamond run that's on the face. And I don't even know if it's open quite yet because there hasn't been enough snow, but it's a very difficult run to get down. So most people that are parking on that side of the mountain, as you all know, there's a lot of locations you can park and access lifts at Heavenly, but that is the biggest one. These people at the end of the day are like, shit, how am I going to get down the mountain? So a 5 o'clock load up isn't like a shocker. Like usually that gondola will run for a while because and it gets you down into Heavenly Village, which is a major.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. Yeah. So that person got in and it's a real simple radio down to the person at the bottom of like, hey, so-and-so is coming down on gondola number 22 or whatever. And you're going to need to exit that guest. Right. And again, the only thing I know is there was a breakdown in protocol, but what was crazy was the night this happened in all the Facebook private groups of like snowboarders, snow skiers and stuff, these her friends were frantically posting pictures of her. Like our friend is missing and Heavenly will not work with us. Like there's cameras everywhere and they were like, our friend is missing, like didn't meet him for après, didn't go back to the hotel. Like their friend, the last they saw their friend, she's like, I'm downloading and I'll see you guys at whatever bar. Right. So it's like your friend never shows up. Wait. Susie, stop there. She told her friend she was downloading.
They saw her, yeah, because her friends were like, we're gonna, go this other way or whatever. They could get down, and but from our end of it, from locals up here, like we were looking through their eyes the night of, and they were saying that Heavenly was not working with them. They alerted the authorities. And so they didn't know for that 15 hours, like where their friend was, if she was headfirst in a tree well, or what, right? Like they didn't know. So it was really sad to see.
Downloading is the term used for when you get on the gondola to get back to your car, as opposed to skiing down,
or a chair,
like you were saying.
Or a chair.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really? And chairs?
Yeah, you can download on a chair.
Susie, that should have been all ski patrol lights on the mountain. That should have been a mountain-wide emergency.
Right?
Yeah. Instantly, we have this one chance to find this kid.
Yep.
Right. And it was like these girls who were the friends of her said that Heavenly was not helping them at all, not responding to their emergency. So that's when, of course, they went to the police, called 911, got the North Tahoe Fire Department involved, got all them involved. But North Tahoe Fire Department picked her up at 8:30 in the morning when she got off the gondola.
So did she get off when it started up again in the morning?
Yes.
No, she went back up to the top and got a hot chocolate and got a free. They gave her a free day of skiing.
Man, I wonder if her feet were frozen to the floor.
The good news is that this time last year, she would have fucking died. I mean, we were at 240 inch. They just did the snow report. We're at 55% of normal. Last year, we were at 214%. If you remember last year, we were freaking snowed in up here. I mean, it was heavy snow, like winds, cold. It got down to 23 degrees, I think, for her.
How could you guys be at 55%? We're getting so much rain down in Santa Cruz. It's insane.
I know you are, and we are getting rain up here too, bro. I mean, that's the bummer.
Okay.
That's why there's.
Okay, so you guys have plenty of rain. You guys aren't seeing signs of drought. You just don't have as much snow as normal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just measuring the snowpack, right? So like the snowpack is limited and terrain is limited here. Not everything's open, but still everyone's flocking up here. But can I just say two more things?
Please.
Within the same week, like the next day, because this is unheard of. I know carjackings happen at major cities, but in Tahoe City, there was a it's now named Palisades because Squaw Valley was racist to call it that, right?
Oh, shit, they changed the name? It's not Squaw Valley? I didn't know that. What's it called?
Yeah, they changed it to Palisades because Squaw is woke as fuck, dude, up here.
Okay, tell me more. So at Squaw Valley, what happened?
So this Jamaican kid that had a visa, who was working for Squaw Palisades, stole a work vehicle and went on this carjacking, went on this rampant, crazy drive around, ended up in Tahoe City. His passenger flew himself out of the car and he ended up back in the parking lot of Palisades. And when the cops got involved, they fucking shot him and killed him. Because he had a knife.
All right.
And he was coming at the cops and then 3 days later, so this is like 2 days ago, because all this shit has happened. There was a shooting at the Swiss. There's like a really nice 4-star restaurant on the West Shore, the Swiss restaurant. I forget the name of it.
This is the police blotter from Lake Tahoe, Susie's giving us.
Susie, maybe you take a Jamaican and dump them up in the mountains in the snow, and they just don't hold up. You might have just deteriorated mentally from the weather.
I don't even know. I just in the last 10 days, it's like all this shit has happened. And we're like, what the fuck? I'm going to end up living next door to Coach Glassman here.
You're moving out to Arizona?
Idaho.
I got
in the summer.
No, maybe Idaho in the summer and winter ski trips. Then perhaps Scottsdale in the fall and winter time too. But
thank you for calling. Thank you.
There's the update on Tahoe. Everyone, come and visit. It's fun.
Talk to you later. Bye. Olivia, I'm headed to South Lake next weekend. I have my own personal bodyguard. Tahoe's so safe. That's Tahoe.
Yeah.
So safe.
And Olivia, if you can take the gondola, make sure you bring a flashlight
and a phone.
Yeah, satellite phone.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Left on the gondola. That so speaks for itself. That this would be a 10-minute investigation.
There was marijuana involved and a 17-year-old kid too, for sure.
And TikTok.
Yeah, right. Right. Is that seems like I think I would always take my phone with me if I was skiing. I would have my phone in my pocket.
There might be no reception on that.
Caller, hi.
Hey, Sevan.
Hey.
Beaver, Coach. How are we this morning?
Amazing.
Very well, sir. Good morning.
Hey, my name is Casey Spencer. I'm calling from Jonesboro, Arkansas. I've never called in before, but listened for quite some time. I know this isn't an affiliate call necessarily, but just wanted to drop in. We're coming up on 1 year of our affiliate being open. April 1st is going to be 1 year.
Congrats.
And yeah, thank you. We've seen some really amazing growth in an area that needs more of this, right? Like we're in kind of the quote unquote South, even though we're not really South, but we have the culture of the South, if you know what I mean. And we're hovering between 60 and 70 members consistently. But I just wanted to come in and say thank you to all three of you, but Coach especially, for your influence in my life over the past 12 years. So I've been following CrossFit for 12 years now. And yeah, just really pumped. And I've finally had time to call in and say thank you. So I just wanted to do that.
Oh, thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. And congratulations on your anniversary.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Casey, do you have another job too?
Really
do you have a
unreal.
day job too? Do you have two jobs? Do you have
Yeah, I do. I manage an overhead door company here in Jonesboro during the day. It's actually like a family type business. So both of them work really well, and I have freedom to do both. Like I actually just finished a run this morning, so like my job is pretty flexible.
Overhead door. Caleb's like nodding like he knows what that is, but I'm from California. What's that?
Yeah, a garage door.
What do you call it?
A garage door.
Garage doors are also called overhead
door.
door. Wow. Like a roll-up door.
Yeah, like our roll-ups.
Some are roll-ups, some are overhead. Yep.
Like what Dylan does. Dylan does
look, another Californian didn't know what overhead doors are. Thank you. Thank God.
Casey, you know what I always thought was good. What I thought was going to show up in the CrossFit ecosystem and never seemed to. I was surprised that we didn't see a group buying properties, kind of like the Oil Can Henry, Jiffy Lube kind of concept, but buying small properties outside of the high demand commercial property area. Erect a box, throw in some overhead doors, loaded with equipment, and then look for a CrossFit tenant affiliate and do two things. One, set up a rent deal that would beat what they could do because they're helping you own the property. And the other thing would be to be the bank and engage them in a purchase. And you could do everything but paint it until they're ready and have everything needed there. Pull-up bars, weights, everything. So a guy does and if there are affiliates in the area.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go ahead. If you want to talk about that more, I'd be interested. I was shocked that didn't show up.
The money behind the overhead door business or garage door business is my stepbrother, and he's an attorney. He does a lot of property investing around. And it's funny, I've never heard that mentioned outside of his idea of that about a year ago. And he had the same thought as I was already opening it. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. I don't have the funds to do that, but
it's a turnkey box business. It's turnkey. You basically, is that like the McDonald's model?
Yes, and Oil Can Henry's, Jiffy Lubes, a whole bunch of them are all property plays. And then there's some franchisee who runs the thing, works his ass off, makes a living, and calls himself the proud owner of the business. But in the meantime, and then as the property gains in value, there can be a natural incentive and advantage to moving him further down the road to a bigger location as things grow, just kind of the natural life-death cycle of suburbs and all. But you can get caught up in that.
I think the reason it hasn't is because a lot of us are, we're blue collar. We love the methodology. We love the program. We want to see life change. And yes, there are a lot of affiliate owners that do have money and can pursue that. But I think just the fact that we want to put in the work is maybe why it hasn't come that far yet. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll open up before long, those ways.
Well, cool.
I'm building some single family dwelling units, really nice ones here in Phoenix, greater Phoenix area, with the intent of keeping them and renting them. And my accountant's father built several hundred duplexes in Flagstaff over a 30, 40-year period. And he's got third generation tenants.
Wow.
People that have rented for him for 3 generations.
How easy that is to, and then that's just continuous cash flow, flow over the life.
And now these things that he built for $50,000 in the 80s, he can sell them for 1.2 now as the tenants leave. And he's just, it's the economics on that are powerful. Talk your brother-in-law, is it?
Yeah, stepbrother.
Your stepbrother. Yeah, talk to your stepbrother about getting excited and get involved with that.
No.
It's not a good time for the fitness industry, but this makes sense. I would have loved to have found in a industrial park the roll-up door, all the gear. It hasn't been painted yet. I get to customize it to my likes in terms of style, and off the running, and have a landlord who I'm paying, who's letting me what would seem like a nominal fee spread out over time. You'd even work a deal with Bill, with Rogue, and I don't know. Someone will do this,
especially now that you've expressed that. I'm sure that'll pop up in no time.
Yeah. Good.
Hey, dude, stay in touch.
Thanks,
keep us posted.
So
Yeah, please keep us touch. What's the name of your gym?
Yeah, so the name of our affiliate is CrossFit Ridge City, RIDGE City.
Cool.
In Jonesboro, Arkansas. Yep. So appreciate it, guys.
Say hi to everyone for me, Casey.
Will do.
Thank you.
So the economics of a plan where the gym owner can own his building is just huge, and there's room there for the person that lends the hand and streamlines that process to make some good money, and you to get to that ownership position quicker than you would rent save.
Right. That's a clean ass gym.
It's very nice.
Yeah, that's a beautiful place. Robbie Myers, Casey's a good dude, coach. All right, Greg, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Caleb.
Great to see you, Greg.
Talk to you soon, boys. Thank you, everyone.
Ciao, brother. Thanks again, Greg. Great show. Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Bye. What a good dude. That was a great show. Fuck.
That was cool.
He was firing on all cylinders. Guys. I want to show you something. If you go to barbell spin. What is this? Hey,
how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, this is Frank. I have a couple questions for Greg, if that's okay.
He's gone, Frank. He's gone.
I blew it. All right. Try next time.
All right, brother. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
I want to go to barbell spin, and you will see. Oh, here it is. CrossFit denies Ellie Turner's request for competition region exemption. So the amazing Ellie Turner, lover of two-time champ Justin Medeiros, wanted to compete this year in the United States. And she filled out some sort of region exemption because she must have read the rules and realized she didn't qualify to compete here. And she filed some sort of exemption with CrossFit, and it sounds like it's been denied. And there's this awesome thread. It's so fucking cool. It's wild. Accusations of sexism.
This one?
Yeah. Accusation, unfairness. There's accusations of everything except for the fact did she actually qualify for the exemption, which is kind of funny, right? It's just fucking hundreds of posts of just fucking emotional, just fucking insanity, dragging other. But Sally, but mom, Sally got a popsicle. But mom, Jody got some Legos. Oh, it's great. It's the dinner bell for fucking insanity and victims and emotional outbursts and menses, that time of the month talk. Anyway, it's going to be great. And it's going to be so good. And we'll help those of you who are emotionally disturbed, can't think clearly, want all the answers, want to drag other people down. Matt, you know what a common response that is for people? To try to drag other people down. Can you imagine trying to drag Roman or Katrin down, like as part of like your argument when you don't even have all the facts? Anyway, it's like what 3-year-olds do. But so-and-so, like one of my kids starts crying because someone else's Legos arrive in the mail before the other, and they say it's not fair. I'm like, hey, I get it. They're 3, but you're just like, hey, why don't you be happy for his brother that he got his? They're like, no shit. $10 a.m. Menses. Thank you, Judy. I thought that was going to go under the radar. Thank you. I'm glad that stuck. Hey, don't insult menstruating women. It's people with a victim mindset of both sexes. I understand. I just know the week before Aunt Flo shows up in town. No insult intended. I just know that things can get a little squirrely with the old thinking process. The old logic. 2 + 2 is fuck you, not 4. You're eating dinner and you're not smiling, and all of a sudden you're in trouble for not liking someone's food when that's like you were thinking about how you're late on your car payment. Yeah, that kind of shit. Yeah, menstruating men. Yeah, we'll get into all that, Sleeky. Good point. Okay, so 10 a.m. Andrew Hiller and I will break down the old Ellie Turner question. What is going on? What happened? And really, we don't have any facts. That's what's so great about it. It's going to be so great about the episode. We only know that she applied for an exemption, which means she didn't. You don't have to apply for an exemption unless you didn't qualify. So she applied for an exemption. We haven't seen the paperwork of what her exemption is, but she didn't qualify. And yet all these people are so fucking angry. No, Ellie Turner won't be on. Well, I didn't invite her on. I mean, she can come on if she wants. But it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a fun show. I love this shit. It's awesome. Listen, these people, by the way, like once you get all, you need something like real fucking special in your life. So this kind of shit doesn't get you too wound up. Like kids. Or you just need some hardship. No one knows God's plan. Everything happens for a reason. Talk to you guys at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Caleb, will you be here?
I probably can make it, yeah.
It's going to be a fun one, dude.
Looking forward to it.
All right, we could use your mental horsepower. Phone lines will be open, too. Grow a fucking set of balls and call in, people. You want to brawl? Me, Andrew, Hiller, Caleb. Phone lines will be... Grow a set of balls?
It's supposed to say wrong, but it actually cuts out too early. Never mind.
I appreciate the attempt. All right. By the way, if you do want to, our show will be just, well, you'll see. 10 a.m. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, whoa. Hold on. Shannon Medeiros. Severely disappointed. Your tribe wants CF to be transparent, fair, equitable for movement standards, but not for the rule book. Well, we'll get to that. Hey, the thing is this. Well, we'll get to it. I do want to. I do. We're not going to talk about whether the rule book is. Well, we will. We'll talk about it all. Whether the rule book is a good rule book. Like, I think people should be allowed to compete where they want. I think 3 years is too long. All that shit. I think on some sides, I'm like, yeah, fuck. But the point of, well, we'll get to it. But the main point is going to be, hey, there's a rule that says you have to live in the country for 3 years. She must have missed that. She must have missed that totality of 3 years. So she filed an exemption. This is all just my guess, and it didn't pass. That's it. But we can see how pissed off people are without the facts and just the crazy name calling and just the fun shit. It's cool. All right, Shanna, thank you for chiming in. We'll talk to you guys later. See you at 10 a.m. Bye bye.